So ever since around June 21st, 2024, when Joe Biden decided to step down and not run for the presidential reelection, in comes Kamala Harris, and he decided to endorse Kamala Harris for president. And a whirlwind went off. A lot of people in the black community is saying that she's not African American, she's not black. They're not supporting her. There's a lot of black women that's very angry at black men in the black community because they're saying that she is black and y'all need to get behind this sister. She's an HBCU graduate and everything. But the one thing people keep asking is, what is her policies? How does she feel about reparations? How does she feel about these certain programs in the black community to help stop gentrification? What is her position on the immigration policies and these money that's been allocated to these immigrants that's coming in now, the housing situation with these immigrants, money that was supposed to be allocated to the black community? What is her position on this people of color situation when they intertwine at the African American struggle and turn it into people of color? What is her position on that? What is her position on building a wall? So there's so many different positions that people want to hear from her, but what we're seeing is she's not really talking about it. She's not doing interviews where she's talking about it. She hasn't talked to any black intellectuals or black African American economic strategists where we can see what her positions are to garner our vote. But somebody that has been very really on her, calling her out, and it's been Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has been on his podcast really laying into the Democratic Party about Kamala Harris and the strategies that they're using. And it's reached a boiling point. Now, he's claiming that he's independent. And he's not a supporter of Trump, but in his independence, he's supporting Kamala. But he doesn't like the strategies. And he thinks the strategies that they're using could do the Democratic Party in. Check this out.
You, Kamala Harris, what the hell are you doing? I'm not saying what are you doing as in right now. The strategy thus far is fine. I'm talking about moving forward. And when you know the world is transfixed on you as the potential next president of the United States, and we're looking to see what you do, you show up with Tim Walz by your side? Really? Really? You know we were looking for you. You know we wanted to hear from you. No disrespect to him whatsoever, but ain't nobody, how many times you gonna hear that he's a school teacher and a former coach? That he gets you. How many times? We know this already. We got it. You want to talk to us about the state of affairs in Minnesota? You want to talk to us about it being one of the highest tax states in the republic? You want to talk to us about whatever crime is going on there? What your positions were during the riots, et cetera, I'm down with you. I got it. But there's millions of people who disagree. If you want to go that route, no. Nobody cared. You know why? They want to hear from her. And why do they want to hear from her? Because when she was the vice president, you never heard from her. And she was getting blamed for stuff that she may not have deserved to get blamed for. Well, what is it? We're blaming you for flip-flopping on fracking. Is it true? Are you? Healthcare. Has your position flip-flopped on that? Or is it the same? They're talking about, you got surrogates out there talking about now you willing to support building a wall after you spoke against it. Is that true? Is it? These are legitimate questions is all I'm saying. I'm not castigating her. I'm not casting convictions upon her or anything like that. I'm saying we want to hear from her. I don't give a damn about hearing from Tim Walz right now. He's the vice president nominee. We got it. We understand. We ain't trying to hear from him, no. We want to hear from her. Because we've been waiting to hear from you for 4 years. We want to see where you stand and why. And oh, by the way, as Teflon done as Donald Trump may be, that's with his constituents. It's not with registered independents. That's who you're trying to win over. Where you at? Ladies and gentlemen, she ain't going up against Mitt Romney, who knows his stuff. Say what you want about Ron DeSantis. He knows his stuff. She ain't going up against Nikki Haley. Whatever your positions may be with the border wall, with inflation, with crime in Democratic cities, although there's crime in Republican-led cities too, the point is, that ain't even it. The issue is, you did this in your first press conference, Kamala Harris. You sat up there and said, believe me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. You talked about dealing with criminals, fraudsters, and, con artists. And then you said, believe me when I say, ladies and gentlemen, I know Donald Trump's type. Well, if you know his type and you're accustomed to dealing with him, why is he the one doing a bunch of interviews?
So we know right now to question the Democratic Party, you're going to get a lot of pushback from a lot of people because they're going to say, oh, would you support Trump? Because in the black community, we're not allowed to have a voice. We're not allowed to ask questions. We're supposed to just do what we're told and shut up. Shut up and vote. Don't ask about policies. Don't ask for nothing. Wait till she get in and then you ask for something next time. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to wait 4 years or 8 years down the line. So, but what is the black community going to be by then with these immigration policies? But Stephen A. Smith wasn't finished. He carried on and said this.
Again, the strategy was fine. I'm not complaining about the strategy you employed up to this point. I'm saying be clear. That ain't going to win you the presidency. And for your first interview, and by the way, you know the code that he's using. Nod your head, Rashawn. Nod your head, Honor Free, especially you, Honor Free. Oh, especially you. All right, and you too, Bailey. All of yous. Nod your head. Is Trump, yes or no? Is Trump not using codes when he points out that she's hiding? He's leaning on gender. I'm a man. I'm strong. Look at the war in Russia and in Ukraine with Russia. Look at what's going on with Israel and Palestine in the Gaza Strip and beyond. Look at the kind of troubles that we're experiencing, whether it's North Korea, it's China, or whatever. Iran, Iraq. I mean, come on, y'all. Look at all of this. You think she's strong enough? She can't even show up to do a hard interview. I show up all the time. This is what he's doing. We all know what that is. You feeding into machismo. You trying to say commander-in-chief. He didn't do that to Hillary. He said a lot of things about Hillary, like crooked Hillary and stuff like that. He ain't never implied she was scared. He ain't never implied she was running. Because Hillary Clinton was smart as a whip and know her stuff. We all know. The most qualified woman to ever run for president in this country's history. Without question. Ain't that supposed to be Kamala? HBCU grad. Prosecutor. State Attorney General. Senator. Reigning Vice President of the United States of America. Kamala Harris has all the credentials in the world to stand tall, stand straight up, and be like, yo, this is the way it's going to be. Let's get it on. And as a prosecutor and as an attorney, as somebody who knows the law, as somebody who knows a criminal when she sees them, as somebody who knows a con artist when she sees them, and all of these other things that she said about him, why is this dude the one we see? Because the Democrats are telling her, well, you know what? Something ain't broke, don't fix it. We gain this momentum. They are right about that. And I'm not disagreeing with anybody on my team who feels otherwise. Here's my point. It doesn't matter if the regular process had been followed. But because they avoided the primaries, because they were accused of greasing the skids to disguise and hide Joe Biden from the rest of us in terms of the decline that was clearly taking place. She is now the Democratic nominee without having had to have a debate, without having to experience a primary, without having to campaign. it was handed to her in the eyes of the opposition. That is what they're going to say about her. Say what you will about Trump. He's supposed to be a criminal, right? He's supposed to be in jail, right? He's supposed to owe nearly $500 million, right? The bottom line is he's been the Republican nominee since 2016. And he's been through a myriad of debates. And on top of all of that, he got all of this law, these legal issues descending down upon him. And the people have spoken. The Republicans said they want him.
And I'm going to tell you guys something that I know. The largest voting bloc in this country is white women. And the question that I would ask is, will W women vote for Kamala Harris and have her as the first woman of color to be the first woman president in the United States of America before the W woman, who's held the position of power right next to her man? Will she do that? Because when we saw Hillary Rodham Clinton running for president, what we saw was in 52% of that W woman's voting bloc voted for Trump. Despite the feminist situation, despite the Me Too's, despite all of that, when it was time to vote, 52% of that voting bloc voted for Donald J. Trump. And the question I would have to ask is, will the W women vote for Kamala Harris, who has a W husband and she's a woman of color? And see, this is the question that's not really being asked. And then a lot of people being very disingenuous about it, because I'm looking at the position that a lot of these women take when it's time to really take action. So, you know, we want to know her policies. We want to know where she stands on a lot of things. We want to see her in a debate and how she will fare in a debate when she's asked the tough questions, not the lollipop questions, not the softball questions. We want to know. If y'all say the fate of the community relies on this, so you better not vote for Trump, then we're asking, okay, you don't want us to vote for Trump, but what we see right now is us being gentrified out of communities. What we see right now is them taking what was supposed to be for black people and turning it into a people of color, and them bringing in a whole bunch of Latinos to create a whole new voting bloc to overtake ours. That's what we see now. We see Venezuelan gangs overrunning black communities. So we're asking questions. We're asking questions. But the thing is, we're not supposed to ask questions. We're supposed to just go along and do what we're told. That makes absolutely no sense at all, man. So we want to see her. We want to see her come out. We want to see her answer the tough questions. We've been loyal to the Democratic Party for 60 years. We have a right to ask questions. Everybody says. Everybody. See, this is the thing. I don't like Trump or Kamala. I don't like the three judges that Trump put on the bench, Supreme Court judges and the federal judges that Trump is putting on the bench. I'm not a big fan of his vice president running mate. I'm not a fan of none of that, right? But I'm also not a fan of Ketanji Brown that the Democrats put on the bench, the Supreme Court bench. I'm not a fan of the alphabet stuff that they're pushing. I'm not a fan of that either. I'm not a fan of a lot of the Democratic policies. And Democratic-run cities, black cities, are on fire. They've become welfare states. We know that there's a lot of W people on welfare, but I'm speaking about our people. That's not supposed to be something where it becomes a 25-year job. But they create these programs and just funnel programs to our people for years, and we've got stuck on just being on welfare. And listen, we got a lot of work to do, and we should be asking questions now. We should be asking questions. I don't really usually agree with Stephen A. Snitch, but on this one, I agree with him 100%. You should be asking questions. So I'm going to cut this video short here. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.